Okay, so hopefully we have audio now. If anybody's out there and can tell me if we have audio now, that would be awesome. Let me turn my volume up here.
If anybody's out there and can tell me.
Oh yeah, we've got all kinds of volume now. That's good. All right, so Lose to Win 2023. We're going to go through this just as quickly as possible here with you. So lots of things have changed in the past few years between COVID and people's lives and schedules and things like that. There's just the world is different, right? And so it's been about almost 3 years now since we have had a Lose to Win. We had multiple. We either had one session or multiple sessions since around 2007 or 2008, and over these past few years, because the program has been in the past pretty dependent upon group meetings, we've foregone Lose to Win. And so it hit me the other day. I was like, you know what, we've got to do something for people to help them with their healthy lifestyle journey. And with things having changed in our world, I decided it was time to change up the program. And partly I changed up the program because probably for the past 4 or 5 years before COVID, so including this past 2 or 3, but the last 3 or 4 years that we had done Lose to Win, I really started to struggle with some of the behavior that the competition created. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm going to talk a little bit about competition in a minute, but I think some of the things that we've done in the past have created some unhealthy habits for the 10 weeks or 12 weeks that the program existed. And so I really wanted to do something that would help people create long-term habits and help them create things that they can do and live with forever. And so I think we've created something that will help that happen. So what am I going to do in this little video here? I'm going to give you a brief program history, which I kind of did already. I'm going to explain the reasoning for the changes in the program, which I kind of did already. Tell you what the program is, what it's not. We'll discuss the actual details, like the down and dirty of how it works. Describe the 3 enrollment levels and what you get with each level. And then I'm glad to answer any questions that you may have. So now you can let me know that via comments here or email or something like that. So I always start off with some fun stuff. I don't know if you guys feel like this, when you were super motivated starting your diet this morning, but by the time you get to lunch, you regret your whole life. So here's the thing. I kind of feel like when we go on diets or when we do things to lose weight, we end up doing extreme things. We do it all at once because we want to lose that weight right now. And sometimes I feel like the way we did Lose to Win in the past, that we really encouraged that kind of behavior for 10 weeks. I even had times where people would come to me and say, employers would say, hey, I hope your program's over soon because so-and-so just is a bear to deal with at work. Or spouses would come to me and say, I love the fact that my spouse is losing weight, but they sure are in a bad mood all the time. And that's not the kind of situation we want to create. We want to create a situation, we want to create a program where you do things that you can do forever and you don't hate your whole life, right? So we'll talk more about that as time goes on. And the other thing that, would happen at Lose to Win sometimes is people would get on the scale and they would be like, oh, it must be my clothes. That's why I'm not losing weight, right? And when you're trying to hit weight loss goals, especially in a competition, you get distracted. And, we had times where, I would literally have to leave the room because people would derobe. And did they really lose that weight when they were wearing the exact same thing last week? And now to meet their goal, they took their clothes off? No, they didn't. Now, don't get me wrong. If I was trying to hit a weight loss goal, especially in a team environment, I might would do the same thing. Okay, I get it. There's no judgment there, but it's also not something that is creating a long-term habit either. So we want to create those long-term habits, and that's what the goal of the program is. Or I don't know why I'm not losing weight. Also me stuffing a cupcake in my mouth. I can relate to that for sure. I don't know why I'm losing weight. So here's the thing. We want to make sure that we're creating a program that helps you meet those long-term goals, right? And we all actually know what to do. So it's not necessarily that you don't know what to do. Now, sometimes you may have some roadblocks. Sometimes you may realize that there are some things that you're doing. You may not realize some things that you're doing. Like one time I had a guy that was like, it wasn't losing weight as fast as he thought he should. And then we discovered he was drinking like 3 glasses of orange juice at breakfast. Orange juice isn't bad for you necessarily, but the kind he was drinking had a lot of sugar in it. He was probably drinking 700-800 calories of orange juice before he got his day going, right? This was a smart guy. But we just, have to figure those things out, okay? But ultimately, we all know what to do. We all know how to lose weight. We just need some accountability, okay? So a little bit about me, a little bit about my story. I was a large puffy man for a while. And honestly, I brought the program back partly because I need it, and partly because I've struggled with weight loss and making sure that I'm being as healthy as possible. I don't feel worthy, if that's a word, well, that is a word, but if that describes the situation, I don't feel worthy necessarily to lead a program like this because I've struggled, especially through COVID myself, putting some pounds back on. So I'm here with you. I understand your struggle, and we're going to walk through this thing together. Okay. So after my wife got pregnant with our first son, who is now a senior in high school, which is kind of crazy to think about. She looked at me before we had Eli, which is my oldest son. She had cancer twice already and had multiple concussions through sports, athletics, car wrecks, things like that. And she looked at me and said, I've had some things happen that challenge my health. You actually are a pretty healthy person. So I need you to do everything you can to get healthy for our kids. And so when your wife tells you to do something, guess what you do? You do it. Okay. So I got healthy. I got to do some pretty cool things, meet some pretty cool people along the way. And I just continue to strive to live that lifestyle now. I don't always do it perfectly, but that's why we need each other. That's why we need groups like this. That's why we need accountability. Okay. So a little bit of information and history about the program. Long story short, we started it back in the late 2000s. It's been going on for, in some way, shape, or form for, I guess, what is that, 16 years or so now, 15, 16 years for now. This will be the 20th or so time that we've actually done something along these lines, not counting some of our accountability programs along the way. So we've been doing this for a while, and we've been able to help a lot of people lose a lot of weight, and hopefully we can help you too. So what is the program? I want to let you know up front and be real clear about what to expect, especially those of you who have participated in Lose to Win in the past, because this is very different. This is not just about losing weight, but it's about creating long-term habits. So what you can expect, accountability. So we're going to give you accountability. It's just different when you step on the scale in front of another human being. It's just different. And then we're going to give you some accountability, right? And then we're going to give you some accountability. All right. So it's all about the accountability. When every year in the fall, I have my yearly checkup with my doctor. And a couple of months prior to that, I go, oh no, I'm going to have to step on the scale in front of my doctor. So I want my weight to be at least what it was last year, if not less. Right. And so just that little thought process changes my behavior for those few months. And so part of the program is just getting on the scale in front of another human being, and it will change your behavior. It just will. It just does. We're going to have a Facebook group that you have access to where we encourage each other, ask each other questions, make sure that everybody's doing well and meeting their goals. We'll have some potential meetups. I'm not going to promise these, but I hope over the course of the year for us to meet up a few times, maybe to go to the park and do a walk/run together. Nothing real formal. Maybe it's do an exercise event together, or just anything like that. And I'm open to ideas too, if other people have ideas on how we can meet up and just really encourage each other and hold each other accountable to our lifestyle journey. We'll do a monthly Zoom meeting. Those Zoom meetings will focus on mainly the group and recognizing people who did well during that month, and maybe asking them some things about what they did to do well, how they accomplished their goals that month, and some other information as well. I do plan on doing those here at the pharmacy. And so if you're not a Zoom person and would rather show up and participate in that live, you're definitely more than welcome to. We'll work on the audio for those in the future for those of you who choose to stay on Zoom. And then we're going to give access to some of our previous meetings. So we've put out a ton of information over the years about different programs, different diet styles, whether you think that you'd like to be an intermittent faster, or whether you think you'd like to try keto, or what kind of exercise should I do. We've put out just information about those things, and we're going to get those uploaded to our website so that you can view those as a member of the program, so that you're getting some more detailed information, as the majority of the focus of this program is about accountability. Speaking of that, we have our weekly weigh-ins for you to participate in. So you'll be able to come every week, basically on your own time, but we'll talk about that later, and the weigh-in schedules. All right. And like I said, we're going to talk about later the ultimate flexibility of the program. Okay. So what not to expect. We're not going to give you a specific diet plan that falls outside the scope of what we're really allowed to do. And I don't want you to come in thinking, hey, they're going to tell me exactly what to eat, exactly what to do. I've also found that many times when that happens, as soon as somebody moves away from that program, they've not created long-term habits, and they need to figure out the things that are going to work for them. Now, we are going to through those videos that I mentioned earlier, you're going to get some thought processes and some tips and ideas for sure. But are we going to sit down and go through with you exactly what to eat? No, we're not. Okay. So a personalized exercise plan. Are we going to talk in general about exercise? Yes. Are we going to sit down and create a personalized exercise plan for you? No. Both of those things are, are important things, right? What to eat and how to exercise. And I agree with that. Now, honestly, if we just want to get down to the honest truth of it all, the plan, you're going to see what the investment is later. But for what the plan costs, you're going to see that really having specific personalized solutions like that, it wouldn't be cost effective for us either. So there are some really good resources in Manchester and in our county of people who will sit down and do that with you. So you might want to sit down with them and use us for the accountability as an idea. But again, a lot of you already know exactly what you need to do. You just need the accountability. We're not going to have constant oversight. I'm not going to walk around and, smack the cupcake out of your hand. All right. We don't have teams. This is not a team thing. We found that sometimes the team approach added some pressure to people that they did not want. Okay. The idea of being able, to get everybody's schedules together is just tougher and tougher these days. So there will not be teams this year. There's not required tracking. Okay. So in the past, Lose to Win, you've been required to track points and things like that. Again, we wanted to make this as simple as possible while still being effective. Okay. Now back to a word on teams. I have had some other ideas on things we can do in future months on how to just stay motivated. But I always want to do it in a way that does not promote unhealthy habits. Okay. So just know that I've got some ideas floating around in future months to help re-engage if, you're kind of falling off the wagon or that kind of thing. So it is a year-long program. We're going to do some fun things, and I'm open to suggestions as well. Okay. There's no required exercise program. All right. I highly encourage you to exercise. What exercise do we encourage you to do? Whatever you're going to keep doing. Do what you enjoy to do. Just get moving and doing something. Okay. Whether it's walking, jogging, running, weightlifting, you know, yoga, whatever it is, you do you in that. And that's the thing you're most likely going to be successful with, because that's the thing that you enjoy. All right. So let's take a look. Why do we create the program? What's the concept behind it? What gets measured gets managed. Okay. So if we're measuring your weight loss, guess what? You're going to manage it. It's just the truth, right? Okay. So we're more likely to succeed when we have a measurable way to be held accountable. The bad news is there aren't many concrete ways to really see if we are getting healthier. Okay, there are blood tests and things like that, but the most simple way to see if you're headed in the right direction is on the scale. Okay, we'll talk more about that in just a second. So the crux of the program is this: create a program with a measurable outcome, i.e. the scale, and hold participants accountable to those outcomes. And that's what we're going to do, is we're going to hold you accountable to that. So the most simple way, albeit not an absolute, is to track weight. Okay, so it's a concrete way to track. Now, is the weight the perfect way to track? Absolutely not. However, if someone is overweight to the point, especially a BMI of 30 or greater, you know, there's a good chance that your weight is a good indicator of where you are health-wise. You start getting under a 30 BMI, and there can be all kinds of other factors like lean muscle mass, other health concerns and issues that are, you know, that are causing you to hold on to weight, that kind of thing. But it is the most simple way, and it is the easiest way, and so that's the way we're going to use and focus on. However, I would suggest doing things like, you know, doing before measurements, where, you know, you measure different areas of your body. There's all kinds of good videos on YouTube on how to do body measurements. You're going to see in a minute, we have a machine that will actually do your body measurements for you, which is kind of cool. You know, I would also suggest things like a cholesterol check. That's another good indicator. So you can be losing weight, but still eating the wrong things and keeping your cholesterol high. And so those are just a couple of other ways that you can do some that are simple, easily accessible, that you can do to track your what's going on with your healthy lifestyle journey. Okay. All right. So what did we create? Here's the way it works. It's a monthly commitment program. There's one exception to that, and that's this first session, because we're already going to be halfway through the month when we start. So what does that mean? So you can participate on a monthly basis. So let's say you have something going on in May, and you're like, okay, I know I'm going to miss at least 2 or 3 of the weigh-ins in May, and I don't want to have consequences for missing that. And we're going to talk about consequences in a minute. So I'm going to opt out in May. All right. So you're going to say, hey, I'm not participating in May. I'll be back in June, or I'll be back in July, or whenever it is. Okay. So you can participate all 12 months, or you can participate 1 month, whatever you want to do. It's up to you to choose your level of how often you want to participate. So you choose what months, you make it work for you. Now, it's $5. We're going to charge you $5 for each time you miss a weigh-in or each time you gain weight. Okay. So a little teeth to the program, making sure that you stay focused. All right. So in order to do that, you're going to have to keep a credit card on file. However, you get one freebie per round or per month. Okay. Now, what's a freebie? How does that work? Well, you can use your freebie if you miss a weigh-in. So for whatever reason, maybe you're on vacation 1 week and you know that you're going to miss a weigh-in. Well, that's not super fair to you. So you can use your freebie for that week, right? So that way you don't have to skip a whole month just because you know you're going to miss one weigh-in. Or if you happen to gain weight 1 week. Now, I know I have it happen to me too, where you do. You feel like you do everything right. You're focusing on the right things. You did what you've done in previous weeks, and you've lost a pound or 2 a week every week. And then all of a sudden 1 week, you're up 2 pounds. Okay. That's going to happen. And in order to keep you from being super discouraged about that, we want to make sure that you've got that freebie for that week that those things happen. Ladies, I know that there's a week in the month that may not be suitable for you to weigh in. So we want to take that into consideration too. All right. So you'll choose each month if you want to participate. And the net dollars from that $5 consequence, we'll call that the pool of money. Okay. We're going to donate that to a charity at the end of the year. We're not in any way, shape, or form going to try to make money off people not hitting their goals. That just feels weird and backward. So we'll keep up with it. And that money will be donated to a charity at the end of the year. Okay. If you have a BMI of less than 28, you may actually gain up to a pound a week. All right. If you'd like further explanation on that, please ask. Long story short, if your BMI is below 28 or 28 or below, you're at a point where you can do everything right in a week, and you don't. That can happen to you more regularly, more frequently. The closer you get to your goal weight, it's more difficult. And again, we don't want to promote any kind of negative behavior as well. So if that's you, we can talk more about that. All right. So what if I don't like the idea of those $5 consequence weigh-ins? Maybe it doesn't match my goals or the way I'm doing things. That's okay. We've got an option for that. Now, basically the way that works is for a one-time $39 fee, we'll customize your program. Why is there a fee for that? Because it takes time to set that up, and time is money, right? So that's what it boils down to. All right. The goal does have to be weight-based. The goal will have a dollar-based consequence for not reaching the goal, so we can decide upon that together. And again, we'll work together to decide upon that. Some examples might be, I'm going to set a goal to weigh X pounds at the end of each month. And so you might say, if I don't weigh X pounds at the end of February, then maybe, I'm going to put $20 in the pool or whatever it is. Okay. Or maybe it's to set a goal to stay under X number of pounds at all times. Now, quite honestly, this customized part of the program, I would suggest, is more for people who are already close to their goal weight, who have that BMI of 28 or less, that kind of thing. So they can just, they're kind of in that maintenance mode at this point. All right. For those of us who are in a situation where we're wanting to get back healthy, get back on the train, I really highly suggest not doing a customized program, but doing something where you can stay focused on consistent, small victories each week. All right. So let's talk a little bit more. What if I don't like the concept of the program whatsoever? That's okay. I hope you find something that does work for you. It's okay if you don't like this program. That's fine with me. It's something we kind of dreamed up, and hopefully it will help people. I guess we'll find out. And it is okay. I want you to find what works for you. We've had some longtime lose to winners here lately get involved in another program that has been super successful for them. And we're so happy for them. And we're proud that they are achieving their goals. So it's okay. It's not, I don't think it's the end all be all program. I don't think it's the perfect program, but it hopefully will help people. So weigh-ins. So how do the weigh-ins work? It's dependent on your level. However, no matter what level you are, you can come and weigh in anytime between 8 and 6, Monday through Friday, here at the pharmacy. Our technicians are going to be available to you to come and do those weigh-ins. So you can pop by. You're going to see when you register, you can actually make an appointment, which will kind of guarantee you a time slot, and potentially they'll get to you a little quicker. Okay. So no matter what level you are, you're going to be able to weigh in between 8 and 6, Monday through Friday. So it's super flexible for you. And that's here at the pharmacy. I mentioned it can be scheduled, and I'll have some set times that I'll personally be doing the weigh-ins, and I'm glad to chat with you during those times. So you can, there'll be a link to where you set that up and say, hey, I definitely want to get weighed in by Joe. I know it's kind of weird for me to say that or to know why people would prefer that, but if that is your preference, I'll have those times set aside. You can weigh in up to 3 times per week. The lowest weigh-in counts. So why would I do this? Well, let's say you come in Monday or Tuesday thinking that you've lost weight, and you get on the scale and you've not. Okay. I want to give you opportunities to maybe it's water weight from the weekend. Maybe you come in Wednesday and because of Taco Tuesday, you're retaining a little fluid or something like that. Okay, so it gives you an opportunity to come in the next couple of days to weigh in. One of the reasons I did this is, again, watching, you just learn from the past, right? So watching some unhealthy behaviors in the past where people would come in for lose to win and our little challenges, and they would come in and they would do their weigh-in and they would not have lost weight that week, and they would go run around the parking lot like 25 times to try to lose 2 pounds of water weight. Well, that's not really weight loss, right? So it just produced this mindset that wasn't good. So again, competition is not a bad thing, but sometimes it can cause us to do some weird things. And I wanted to create a situation where even if we're competing, that we do it in a healthier way. All right. Now, I ask that you only use those 3 weigh-ins per week if you're in a situation where you gain weight. Okay. Now, we're not going to restrict that, but that's just kind of an ask. Okay. All right. So the weigh-in schedule, how does that work? January and February is combined. Also in the sign-up packet, in the information packet, we do define the whole rest of the year as well. Why do we combine January and February? Because by the time this starts next week, we're already halfway through the month. All right. And so I also feel like getting the year started off in a longer time period, a longer commitment period will help. All right. Each month afterward is standalone. So you'll choose March, April, May, and you'll do that closer to time as each month approaches. Pay attention to the dates, as it doesn't always follow an exact Sunday to Saturday week. Okay. This mostly is based on the fact that, some months don't end, or most months actually don't end exactly on the weekend. And so we had to kind of monkey with the dates a little bit towards the end to keep it on a calendar month basis. All right. And I'll be communicating that throughout time. It is already set up in the packet. We've already defined it all. However, I know that come October, you guys probably aren't going to have any idea where that packet is or what those dates are. So we'll continue to communicate that with you along the way. Just wanted you to be aware of it up front. So what are the enrollment levels? So let's talk about that. Level 1, you're going to get membership for all of 2023. So it's the whole year of accountability for you. You're going to have access to our Facebook group that I mentioned earlier, which in the past has tended to be pretty active. Any meetups or challenges that we may do. Okay, so we're going to have that. Access to monthly Zoom meetings. I mentioned those earlier. You'll have access to those previous Lose to Win educational videos of healthy lifestyle, weight loss tips, techniques, and other information. Okay, so we'll get those up for you over the coming months. So the investment for that's $99, which basically works out to be $8.25 a month. Of course, the $99 is all up front. Okay, but if you think about that, where else can you get a weight loss program for $8.25 a month for $99? It's just with all of that. So I hope we've put together something worth a value for you at that level 1. Okay. So what are the other levels? Level 2. All right. Basically everything that was in level 1, membership for all of 2023, access to the Facebook group, any meetups or challenges you may do, access to those Zoom meetings, those previous Lose to Win videos. You also get 2 body image scans. I'm going to show you what those are in a minute, but basically it's our little machine that does the scans for you. So you can use that as kind of a before and after. You also are going to get 2 cholesterol checks. Like I mentioned earlier, checking your cholesterol is a good way to see, okay, I'm losing weight, but is there something, going on inside my body that is positive, right? Or do I still need to change up my diet a little bit? That's a good internal check for that. And you get free blood pressure checks throughout the course of the program if you want those. Okay. Sometimes it's nice to have somebody else check your blood pressure. You also will have access to Saturday weigh-ins. So now you'll never be able to schedule a Saturday weigh-in, but as a part of level 2, you can come in and get a weigh-in. I can't promise you exactly how quickly that those will happen. But if you come in on a Saturday, one of our technicians will step aside and get you weighed in for that week. Okay. Finally, the investment for that is $159. and that value is $244 plus. So it's a really good deal. All right. So about the body scanner. So basically what it's going to do is it's kind of interesting. You actually stand on a little turntable. It spins you around. It doesn't actually take a photo of you, but it does do a 3D rendering of you like you see on the screen here. And it goes through and it actually does your measurements at all those green lines, at those spots. So it's doing the measurements for you. And it's pretty doggone accurate. Okay. You'll see here, there's also kind of a before and after. Again, when you do it, we'll have that starting point, and then later in the year, we can do it later. If you want to use your two, like let's say you want to do one when you first get started, which is what I recommend, and let's say you want to do another one in June or July just to see where you're at, we can discount another one at the end of the year if that's the way you want to proceed. That's fine. Another cool thing that it does is it overlays different images on top of each other. So you notice on the far right there, the green line is the after picture, the red line is the before picture. So it physically shows you how areas have gotten smaller, which is pretty cool. This is a cross section. So basically, you've got for this person, it's their waist, their high hip, and their hip, kind of showing, again, that green line is the after, the red line is the before. Again, kind of showing basically if you were to take an overview, basically take a cross section. So a cross section is when you slice something, take it apart and look top down. Okay. So this is what it would look like top down. This to me is one of the most interesting features of the body scan, giving you that idea of what that loss really looks like in terms of the space that you take up in the world. All right. And I just wanted to include the picture of me and my body scan. Okay. So that's really not me. Anyway. All right. Finally, level 3, the enrollment level. Of course, all the things in levels 1 and 2, membership 2023, access to Facebook group, challenges, meetups, Zoom meetings, previous videos, 2 body image scans, 2 cholesterol checks, free blood pressure checks, Saturday weigh-ins, and 2 more things added on to this. 2 one-on-one sessions with me to help you create a plan for your journey. Now, I want to be specific. I want you to know up front what this is. This is more of a goal setting session and how to achieve those goals. It is not sitting down and creating a specific diet plan. Again, that's outside of my area of recognized expertise, and an exercise plan, which again is outside of my area of expertise. I am good at helping people set goals, and sometimes it's good just to sit down with another human being to set those goals. Okay. So we'll do one, early in the program, and then whenever you want to do a checkup later in the program, we'll schedule that to do that as well. The other thing you get with that is the potential for an at-home weigh-in option. Okay. So we'll set up a scenario where you can do your weigh-ins from home and report those in, and we'll record those for you. Okay. So the investment for that is $249. All right. So that's the way that works for level 3. Okay. So add-ons, you can do what's called a Beat Joe challenge. And if you lose a greater percentage of weight than me during this first little 10-week period, which I think it actually works out to be, yeah, because we're going through March for that. If you beat me, percentage-wise, you get 100% of your money back. All right, so no risk as long as you beat me. And then for everybody that beats me, you're going to split 100% of the remaining money with other people that beat Joe minus the credit card processing fees. Okay, so let me explain the way it would work in a scenario, because that's the best way to understand something like this. All right, let's say 10 people participate. All right, that's $200. One of them beats me, the other 9 do not. So basically, in that scenario, the person who beat me, they get their $20 back, and they get everybody else's money too. Okay. Now, if it was 10 people and 2 people beat me and 8 people did not, those 2 people would split the other 8 people's little investment or enrollment fee right there. Okay. So that's kind of the way it works. So the goal would be to encourage me to do really, really well, but be the only person that beats me. Okay. So just a fun little challenge. And again, not anything that should encourage negative behavior, because I'm not going to have negative behavior in terms of doing crazy things. So I'm going to have weight loss, but it's not going to be like just massive amounts of weight loss. Okay. Because I'm going to do it in a healthy, slow, steady fashion. Okay. But it keeps me focused and it keeps you focused. All right. And that'll run from January to March. So you will have to participate January and February, which is the first session, and then you'll have to participate in March to be eligible for that as well. And you must weigh in sometime in the first week of the program, which is next week, which is January 9th through 14th. And then you'll have to weigh in sometime between March 20th and March 31st. That particular week, I actually increased the time there that people could weigh in, because I realized that the last week of March could be a lot of people's spring break, and I wanted to make sure that you're able to weigh in for that before you leave for your spring break. You may be using that last week of the month as your freebie that month. So that's the way that will work. All right, special goals. So we talked about that earlier, where you wanted to create your own special goal instead of the $5 consequence. That's a $39 one-time fee. I've got to approve that. It must be weight-based. We talked about that already. And it must have a dollar amount consequence of some kind. And again, any dollar amount consequence that goes into that will go into that same pool that will be donated to a charity at the end of the year. Okay. This did not go over well at the meeting last night. I thought it was funny. They did not. Sometimes you feel the weight of the world on your shoulders. Unfortunately, some of us feel it somewhere else. Anyway, just a little fun to end the meeting. So what's next? You'll sign up online. I went through online and kind of showed people what to expect. So you'll select, I'll just talk through it real fast with you. A few things. One, you'll select which level that you put in all your information. You'll select which level you want. You'll also enter your credit card information. You actually end up entering it twice, once for us to keep on file, and then once to pay for your enrollment fee. Okay. The form is secure. It is HIPAA compliant. So you shouldn't have any hesitation about that. So go ahead and get that entered online. Super simple. If you are potentially selecting that special option to where you change your goal around a little bit, if you select that, there'll be another box that pops up that asks you what your ideas about that are and what you would like to do and to accomplish with that. So go ahead, get enrolled as soon as possible. You can start doing weigh-ins as early as Monday morning, January 9th, and you can weigh in, like I say, all throughout the week when it is convenient for you. All right. So if you've got any questions, feel free to reach out. Let me know. Appreciate your time and taking the time to watch the video. I hope it explained everything pretty well. I hope you don't have a ton of questions. I hope it cleared everything up. I'm sure that there'll be some things that weren't 100% clear, and that's okay. Just let me know. And I hope you get enrolled if you feel like it'll help you, because we definitely want to help you be as healthy as possible and to live the life that you were created to live. So with that, appreciate your time, and we hope to see you soon.